Welcome to FIU Football Weekly, our inaugural show. Head coach Ron Turner will join me on a weekly basis to review the previous game and preview the upcoming opponent. And Coach joins me now. Coach, let's talk a little bit about camp and how this team is ready for the 2014 season.
Yeah, Pete, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Look forward to doing this. And, yeah, it was a good camp. You know, we came out of it healthy. Had some guys banged up, especially in the defensive line early, but all of them are back. And it was a good camp. Guys have a good attitude. We made a lot of progress. And I think everybody's anxious to get in the field and see where we are.
I noticed in camp, a lot of guys running with the ones and the twos. I mean, it's a bunch of guys. And, the first depth chart's out, and some names that stood out for me, and I thought they had good camps, so starting with Richard Burrows at receiver. What did you see from him as, he's one of the top guys listed on the receiver depth chart?
Yeah, he did have a good camp. You're right about that. And he and 82, Dominic Grimes, were probably our two most consistent receivers as far as executing the offense, making plays on a consistent basis. And some other guys stepped up and did some good things at times, but those two were probably our most consistent. And hopefully they'll continue that on Saturday.
As far as defensively, I think one guy that had a heck of a camp was Jordan Guest, and he's lined up as one of the top linebackers in this depth chart. Talk a little bit about Jordan.
I'm excited about Jordan. He didn't play last year, and he's gotten a little bit bigger, but he is a very instinctive athlete and a very aggressive by nature athlete. So those are two good things. And as he continues to grow and get bigger, he's going to be a very good player. He does things you don't teach, so I think we're all excited about him.
Shift over to Bethune-Cookman now. It was a 14-7 game last year at halftime, obviously your first year. What did you see from the film of that game and maybe something you could apply to the Saturday's game?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I hope we're a lot better than we were a year ago when we played these guys, and I think we are. And we had a lot of opportunities to make plays. Offensively, a lot of opportunities to make plays. We didn't make them. And conversely, we made too many mistakes that really hurt us. And defensively, I'd say pretty much the same thing. We had some opportunities to get off the field, to make some plays, and we didn't do it. And part of it was mental errors on both sides, and most of it was mental errors on both sides. And then, I think we're a different team than we were at that point, though.
Offensively, they bring back some pretty good talent. They got some big backs. Anthony Jordan, 220 pounds. Danny Dillard, 225, and a pretty good running quarterback. How do you approach that?
Well, it's going to be a challenge. Plus, you didn't mention offensive line. Probably the strength of their offense is their offensive line. I think they have 4 of their 5 starters back, and they have good size. They're a big physical offensive line with those backs that have good size behind them as well. So they lost their leading rusher from last year, but they have 3 guys that played a lot of football for them. They have 2 guys that rushed for over 400 yards. Plus throwing the quarterback, like you said. So they've got, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to, be very sound with our gap control, and we're going to have to come off the ball and play hard and play physical, and just basically do our job and be fundamentally sound.
The Wildcats have a lot, being a team from Florida, they have a lot of athletes defensively, but one guy that stands out is their second leading tackler last year, LeBrandon Richardson. What do you see out of him on film? And I mean, I guess he's a guy that could cause havoc on the offense.
Yeah, no question. He did last year. He's a very good player. Very good player. We got to be aware of him, where he is all the time, and have a plan for him because he's a game changer type player. I mean, he's very quick. Their defensive line up front and linebackers very quick off the ball. Very quick. That's going to be the challenge for us. We're going to play a lot of people that are bigger, but they're really quick. So, same things I said defensively. We're going to have to be sound with what we do and execute.
You got E.J. Hilliard starting on Saturday at quarterback. Your thoughts on E.J., the camp he had, and what you expect out of him this season?
Well, E.J. had a good camp. I think he got better, starting with spring ball, and got better throughout the summer, and had a good, consistent camp. He and Alex Magoo were in a battle for the job. I didn't know who was going to win it really until the last week, and they kind of went back and forth. One day E.J. would have a better day, and the next day Alex would. But I think they both got better as it went. And, just a consistency factor, I think, because of E.J.'s experience and a little bit better understanding of the offense. So we're going with him, and we expect him to go out and play well. And the biggest thing he's got to do is just run the offense. Quarterbacks, like really all positions, but especially quarterbacks, try to do too much. You get in a game situation, think I have to do something different, and they try to do too much. As soon as you do that, you do less. So EJ's just got to get out there and run the offense.
That's FIU coach Ron Turner. He begins his second season on Saturday with 4 straight home games to open 2014. Kickoff at 7 o'clock between the Panthers and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Weekly. Joining me now is center Donald Senat, the senior center. And Donald, yeah, you can say hello. That's good.
Hello. Good.
Donald's a character, just to let you know. Let's go over camp. You know, offensively, you guys seem to look a little bit better offensively. Just talk about what you guys accomplished in camp as an offense.
Well, the continuity. I feel as though another year in the offense, every player got a chance to really get in depth, knowing the assignments and knowing why. The big thing was knowing why we blocked the way we did, knowing why receivers had to do what they did. So now we have a full grasp of the offense. We feel as though the offense can take that next step and become a great offense in Conference USA.
Last year, you guys had a little bit of a tough time against Bethune-Cookman, 73 rushing yards in the game. Looking at film from that game, what have you learned from that game, and what can you apply to Saturday?
How important it is for everyone to do their job. There were times that everybody on the field except one guy got their job done, and that one guy who didn't get their job done cost the play. So we know how important it is for every guy to go out there with the mindset that my job is as important as the next guy. So that's the mindset we're going into right now.
As far as the FIU running game, you guys got a couple of new backs in there this year. Talk a little bit about what you guys think you accomplished in camp with those guys and how they can perform this season.
They got a good feel of the offense, you know. We feel as though if we have the playmakers back there, we trust the coach and the scheme. So once we have those guys and the offensive line does their job, that we can take off, basically. So those guys came in and understood the offense, and you guys will see on Saturday how much we have improved.
E.J. Hilliard is your starting quarterback. Obviously, you know him from the Northwestern days, but how have you seen him progress in his college career and now that he's the starting quarterback for the 2014 season?
Well, he's progressed on and off the field. He's become more of a leader, a vocal leader on the offense, telling the receivers, correcting people left and right, and off the field, spending the extra time in the film room, extra time throwing passes to the receivers after practice. So you see his maturity level has improved this offseason and throughout camp. So we feel as though with him behind, we can take off.
That's Donald Senat. He'll be your starting center on Saturday when the Panthers take on the Wildcats. Welcome back to FIU Football Weekly. Safety Demarkus Perkins joins me for our final segment of our inaugural show. And Demarkus, last year, obviously you didn't play in this game, but Bethune ran for 311 yards. What have you guys learned from watching that film?
Yeah, from watching film, we learned how important it is to do your job. Like last year, as we was breaking down film, you would see like one or two people didn't do their job, and it was pretty much out the gate.
As far as the secondary goes, pretty good battle in the safety position in camp between you, Jordan Davis, and Justin Halley. You get Richard Leonard back at one corner, Jeremiah McKinnon as well. Randy Harvey had a good camp. Seems like the secondary may be the strength of this defense. Talk a little bit more about how the defense you thought performed in camp and is going to do this season.
Yeah, in camp we did a great job in camp of understanding the defense and then knowing the importance of doing your job as far as from the corner, safety, the linebackers, and also to the D-line.
What have you seen from the film? Obviously, from last year, Bethune has lost their top two receivers from last year's team, but they still have some pretty good ones. What have you seen from the receivers for the Wildcats?
Yeah, Bethune, they had pretty good playmakers around the board, but we feel like with this secondary we can match up well against their receivers on the perimeter.
I'm sure you guys are excited. I mean, camp can be long. Doesn't matter what team it is.
Yeah.
You're laughing because it's true.
Yeah.
And you guys are probably excited to get the season underway. What's the mood of the team, you know, knowing that kickoff is just 4 days away? Well, we're taping this on Monday. We'll know where it airs, but it's a few days away.
We just very excited to get out there. We just been preaching 1-0. It's going to take it a game at a time.
That's Demarkus Perkins. Join us next week when we review the Bethune-Cookman game and look forward to the Wagner Seahawks and their first ever visit to FIU Stadium. Until then, this is Pete Pelegrin saying goodbye from FIU Stadium.